Token Arthur was always curious about new things. One day, while flying over the jungle, he saw a group of animals exchanging goods and services using colorful stones. So he contacted Fintech CTOs from fantastic companies all around the world and collaborated with them to learn all about finance. Inspired, Arthur asked Insert CEO Vasil to help start a podcast to share their knowledge with the world. This is what you are watching right now, Fintech CTO Podcast. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, so I'm Vasil Soloshuk and this is our next episode of Fintech CTO Podcast. And today we have a great guest, Hesom Parhizkar. And Hesom has about 20 years of experience as an entrepreneur and technology leader. And it will be really great to talk about your experience today and about your two companies and two products that you have, which is PlanPro and AdvizorPro. So Hesom, welcome.
Hesom Parhizkar is a well-versed senior-level technology executive who serves various institutions and companies as an advisor, adjunct professor, and ZS Youth leadership professional, based on his education, background, and wealth of experience in information technology. His expertise in strategy, architecture, design, and development for more than 2 decades, combined with his executive leadership in fintech, engineering, security, media, and consulting sectors, allow him to navigate the various avenues of technology with expert precision and keen oversight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so maybe just to set an agenda, can you please tell us a little bit more about your background in fintech and your background as a technology leader and as a manager, please?
Sure. Yeah, I started early on as IT support specialist, working at a company, and my role was to help the developers, help everyone to kind of make sure the PCs are set up correctly, make sure it's optimal. The interesting story is I kept on seeing that everyone wanted to install .NET, and I was like, okay, everyone really wants .NET installed. What is .NET? So, I do have more of an engineering background, so did some programming, but finally picked up a book on .NET, and this was back in 2002, which Microsoft just released it, and it was the rage. It was the biggest thing in the world. So, started learning that, and one of the internal applications at where I was at, I rewrote it. We wrote to use VB.NET, and that caught the eye of the web development manager. So he brought me over to his team, and since then, I've been more on the SaaS, a lot of fintech, and as started developer, but I have done QA, I have done leadership, I managed teams of teams. So anything in that ecosystem of, at the end of the day, how to write code and get it to production, I have participated in.
So look, as I see, you have experience like in several roles. So the one is like engineering role, the other is more like leadership management role, and you're also an entrepreneur. So how do you look at yourself right now? So are you more like a manager, entrepreneur, engineer? Who are you right now?
Who I am on a daily basis changes. It's on Monday I'm an entrepreneur, on Tuesday I'm a developer, Thursday I'm a QA person. So it all depends, just because the nature of the business we're in. We're a startup, so you have to wear many hats. One of my personal goals is to I'm very good at technology. I know how to do technology, but I want to be looked at as more just a business leader that is very good at technology. But first and foremost, I want to be looked at as that leader.
So actually, what is interesting to switch the hats? So why do you do this?
A couple of it. The biggest one is resources. As a small company, we don't have the big checkbooks to go and go hire a team. So being very efficient with our capital is something that we've been doing very, very well. And I mean, honestly, between me and you, if I did have more resources, I would love to have a bigger development team, a bigger QA team, a bigger DevOps team. But where we are as a company, it just makes sense to, right now, I kind of have fractional. I have part-time resources working for me on different aspects of the business, but I still have to get very, very involved in every aspect.
So look, in current environment, so we call it recession time.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty, hard to raise more capital because many, as I observe, many investors, they just postpone with their investments. Maybe for the next half a year, we will see less and less investments done into technology sector. So, and my question here is, so what's your strategy in regards of investment? Because you say you have, small team. Why don't you, add more capital? So why don't you go to the investor? Is it because of the current environment, or is it just a long-term strategy you have?
Yeah, it's a long-term strategy we had. I mean, we started this company with just two of us, using some of our own personal capital, but it was more about our experiences and skill sets. So we came together to build this company, and we don't want to. I mean, we've talked about taking capital here and there, but we don't want to do it because we enjoy essentially working for ourselves. We don't want to. I mean, you know how it goes. You take capital from a VC, PE, or whatever source it is. Now we have to quarterly meetings. Now we have to say, okay, why did we do this? Why do this? We are. I mean, at the first and foremost, we're having fun. We're having fun, and what really helps me is like we're adding value to our clients, and our clients appreciate that. So as we kind of grow organically. With the growth, then the growth of the company that allows us to start expanding more rapidly.
Okay, so there are like two strategies. So the one is like to grow organically, okay, add more clients, not like to speed up using outside capital. The other is like to speed up using the outside capital. So from your experience, and as I understand, you have chosen the organic path. Yeah,
yes.
Not like the venture capital path.
Correct.
So from your experience, so for what companies, for what teams, for what products, it's better to have organic path rather than venture capital path? What do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, as we've seen in the last couple of years, I mean, there's some companies local to us and just around the world that took a lot of money, hired a lot of people, and now they have to get let go of a lot of people. So,
yes,
but, yeah, which is unfortunate. But what I've seen, so I mean, as we kind of grow in the company, there is not a one thing that if we invest into X, it's going to make 10X. So companies that could easily, they have an awesome product, and their bottleneck is, for example, not ours, but the bottleneck is sales, right? If the bottleneck is sales, hire 10 more salespeople, and then you're going to make more money. Or vice versa. If your bottleneck's marketing, go put a lot of money in marketing. How we have structured the business, it's not that. There isn't a single. If you say, "Hey, I'm gonna invest $1 million in you tomorrow," I could get that return on investment. Doesn't work that way with the business that we're growing. There are some businesses that do that. That easily more. I don't want to say e-commerce, but like if inventory is a bottleneck, like if you have that capital to do inventory or buy real estate, that's a bottleneck. Software. Usually software has very high margins, so it's not about needing that initial investment to get going.
Okay, yeah, got it. So look, it will be interesting to discuss what is your growth strategy, but let's talk actually about your current companies and products. Sure. So as I know, you have 2 companies and 2 products. Yeah, so PlanPro, AdvizorPro.
It's one company, which is, I mean, this is something we talk about almost daily. So the company legally is PlanPro Solutions. PlanPro is our first product, and then we have AdvisorPro, which is a second product under the same company.
Okay, so why have you decided actually to have, like two brands, not like one brand, but two brands here?
Yeah, good question. I mean, if I had a time machine, we'll go back in time and not have two brands. But it was more of a the AdvisorPro product came out of. I mean, we built it during COVID, and honestly, it was we talked to a lot of our PlanPro clients. We went to conferences and just talking to prospects and clients, and they suggested, hey, this product is really good. Have you thought about doing it for a different segment of the industry? So we said, oh, okay. So honestly, this wasn't, I mean, strategy-wise, we're like, oh, cool. COVID just happened. Everyone locked down. Let's try it. And we tried it. And this is something that I'm very proud of. We didn't wait to get into like production ready. Like when we had the MVP, we started selling it. And we got a lot of feedback from prospects and clients that now the product I'm very, very, very proud of. But like early on, it was like, oh, wow, I can't believe someone bought it in that mindset. But if we didn't have those clients, we wouldn't be here today.
Okay, so who are actually your clients, and what actually you provide to them? So what kind of solution you provide to them in PlanPro and AdvisorPro?
Sure. Both products are very, very similar in nature. So on the PlanPro side, our typical client is a financial advisor who specializes in the 401k plans. So they use our product, PlanPro, to search and to prospect 401k plans. We have a database, and we have augmented that database with contact information. So, for example, Coca-Cola has a 401k plan. So we have all the details about Coca-Cola's plan, essentially the highlights and the lowlights. We also benchmark with competitors. Say, okay, Pepsi's plan is high auto enrollment, Coke's isn't. So we have the benchmarking, and we get really, really deep into the investments. But what has really been a game changer is, okay, I'm a financial advisor. I really want to win Coke's plan, 401k plan. Who do I talk to? So we have algorithms that go out and say, oh, for Coke, we have said, okay, on this form, this person signed a form, so this may be a good person to contact. Also, traditionally in the US, usually it's more the financial accounting groups that own the 401k. So then we have those personnel, CFOs, head of accountings, their LinkedIn, their phone numbers, anything we kind of find on the public realm, we bring in that would help that financial advisor essentially at the end of the day establish that meeting. So we've taken that technology, the algorithms, over to AdvisorPro, which is very similar, but it's a database of all registered financial professionals in the United States. And we've augmented that data from the SEC and FINRA with prop data. So as a financial advisor, we have data, not 100% coverage, but we have data on, okay, what they specialize in. Do they have kids? What are their hobbies? And at the end of the day, the reason why people are coming to us to buy our software, to use our software, is to be highly focused and targeting. So if I'm a software vendor that wants to sell into a financial advisor, instead of doing a cold call or just cold email, they could use AdvisorPro to say, for example, Super Bowl is coming up, Philadelphia. So I could send an email to a prospect and say, hey, awesome game on Sunday. Philly is in the Super Bowl. You could use our system, our software, to see who has mentioned that they're very big Philadelphia Eagles fans. So you can be very highly targeted. So we're taking a lot of data off the internet and kind of compressing it down to our database, and we have a very, very robust search engine to allow the end user to really be very, very, very hyper targeted. And also, once you're targeted, we say, okay, here's a LinkedIn information, here's a phone number, and here is their email address.
Okay, so PlanPro is for financial advisors. It's a platform for financial advisors, and AdvisorPro, it looks like the marketing tool for everyone who want to sell to financial advisors. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so look, there are lots of different marketing tools to do this on the market. Like, there are like different customer data platforms, so that incorporate, lots of data points from different data sources for particular clients, contacts, etc. And there are also tools, to distribute the content for potential for target leads, actually. So what are your competitive advantages specifically for AdvisorPro from this standpoint?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of bigger ones out there. You Zoom Info,
Yes,
Seamless
sure.
AI, right? So the Zoom Info and Seamless, they do it for everyone, right? But we have a very, very distinct niche into the space. And what we do, yeah, I mean, we're very, you could say we're similar, but then Zoom Info, you can't go in there and target their firm size. You can't, like, when I say firm size, like how much money they manage. You can't target about on money management, what type of money they're managing, retirement plans, charities, high net individuals. So we allow you to, we're very, very deep in the industry. I mean, we could search onto about 200 different unique data points on the firm level, as also the person level. So to answer the question, yeah, they're very similar, but we're very, very deep into the very, very niche, and also just the data we have. It's not just the contact data. There's a lot of information about where the person works and yeah, the demographic data. That's what we call it. The firmographic data. I'm sorry.
So do you know the company Snappy Kraken, actually?
Yes, we do. Yes.
So do you think they are your competitors, or you can be like a partners? Just interesting to compare
Sure.
those types of solutions that you provide, because you looks like more like a customer data platform to me, at least, but they are more like a marketing tool to distribute the content. So are you similar? Are you competitors? Are you complying to each other?
More of a partnership. They're definitely not competitors. They do work with financial advisors to help with their brand and their marketing. So they would use our database to kind of prospect who to work with. Also within AdvisorPro, we do have within the search, we do have company websites and bio pages indexed so you can search. For example, a Snappy Kraken, they recently purchased a company called Advisor Websites. Okay.
Yes.
So Advisor Websites, their business is, as you say, they make websites for advisors, right? They have competitors. So using AdvisorPro, they could search. They don't want to search for people who are using Advisor Websites because they're clients. They want to search for competitors to Advisor Websites and try to win those clients over.
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, just to disclose, so Snappy Kraken is our client. Okay, so we help them to develop some of the software solutions. And also, we have another client, the company LeadSpace. So they are not specifically for financial services industries. They are more, broad customer data platform. And I mean, like, they are more generic, and your AdvisorPro is more focused specifically on advisors. And my question here is, what is specific for financial advisors? What specific data about financial advisors you collect that distinguish you from more general customer data platforms, again, like Zoom Info, like LeadSpace, maybe some others?
Yeah, sure. So what are the? I'll give you a couple of use cases. So as a financial advisor, each firm has their different themes. Some firms will, again, I'm being very, very vague here. Some will focus on crypto, right, or ESG, or they focus on fixed income. So depending on your focus, you could use AdvisorPro to say, hey, look, as a vendor, I want to target people who are very who are looking to make the climate better. Okay. So then I can use AdvisorPro to find those firms. Okay. And find those people. Another use case that comes up a lot is ETF managers. ETF managers, they have their funds, and using AdvisorPro, if I have a fund, if I have an investment fund that is doing very, very well, like my biggest thing is I need to tell people that's doing very well. And usually in this world, there's always competitors. So using AdvisorPro, you could see what firms are holding a competitor ETF. So we know, okay, this person, and let's say I have a climate change ETF. Okay, I'm making it up, right? I have a climate change ETF, and what I'll do my research, and there's another climate change ETF. I'm going to use AdvisorPro to see who's invested in that, because if they're investing in climate change ETFs, there's a better chance that they're going to take a meeting with me, versus I have an ETF that does I'm pro gun. I'm pro, like, this my ETF just, or maybe not gun, but sin stocks, that cigarettes, this and that. Most likely they won't want to talk to me. So that's where a Zoom Info doesn't have this information that we have. So at the end of the day, there's about 500,000 different individuals that I could meet with. Not everyone is thinking about climate change. Not everyone's thinking about EV. Not everyone's thinking about XYZ. So using our platform allows you to be very high focused on who you prospect to, because as you know, it's effort. It's time and money and effort to prospect. So let's use that wisely.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. So look, another question. So how the both products are connected with each other, PlanPro and AdvisorPro?
So it's a single platform. So as a person logs in, depending on what access you have different menu options. Honestly, that's something that's a goal of mine, that I want to get them more connected. But right now, it's one platform, but it's very segmented, if that makes sense.
Okay, so can you tell us more about the PlanPro? So what's our competitive features specifically for PlanPro? Because there are lots of wealth management solutions on the market. You're specifically targeting the audience who want to build their 401k plans. But this feature exists in many other wealth management platforms. So why using PlanPro but not more sophisticated, more complex solution with lots of other integrations, features?
Sure. One thing we've seen, it's our typical client. And so we do have some enterprisey clients that use our data, but our typical client is a smaller shop, maybe 1 to 3 advisors that are starting out, that want to get into the space. So we're a lower cost solution. And honestly, compared to the competitors out there, our system is very easy and very user friendly to use. We have a profile. It's very easily laid out, and one of the biggest features is as you tell the system, hey, I'm targeting plans in Atlanta, Georgia, our backend algorithms will start running and start recommending plans. Like if we know that you do very, very well at these type of plans, we're gonna start recommending plans back to you. So hopefully one day that you're sitting back and it's like, hey, go prospect this plan, and you do it. So there's that technology play there, as well as the benchmarking. We benchmark across the industry. So depending on the company's niche, whether they're an advisory service, they're in e-commerce, or whatever it is, we will start benchmarking. So it's a very easy process for a financial advisor to do a PDF from our system, very nice PDF, and to show the company, say, hey, look, did you guys know that you're between your competitors, like you're not doing very well as a 401k plan, because that's a big benefit to the employer. So if there's some questions there about the benefits department, it's like, hey, other 401ks and software do 6% match. You guys do 1% match. Like, let me help you with that. So that really helps. Just the data will help get that meeting and hopefully win that plan over.
So look, to me, it looks like a little bit controversial. Maybe you can explain, like you have a PlanPro, which is like a more simple tool for somebody who just started their business. And this is a really, I really like this strategy because it can be some sophisticated wealth management platform with lots of reporting, integration, but maybe you just don't need this so far. And many small shops may need just a simple, easy to use tool. But also you have a database of this financial advisor. So why you are selling this database? Why not just leverage this database for yourself?
Sure. So that's, so I mentioned earlier that we went to a couple of conferences and our clients are asking us, hey, you should build this product. Honestly, that's how we start. That's what we started. So while trying to prospect for a PlanPro, we knew we need financial advisors in these territories that held these licenses. And we know that if someone holds this kind of type of license, most likely they're in the 401k space. So honestly, before AdvisorPro was essentially sold to the outside public, we were using it internally. Again, not with a pretty UI, but we had algorithms writing prospects to a database. And then our team was using that data to sell PlanPro subscriptions. And that's where we went to a couple of conferences like, oh, how do you know to talk to these people? Like, oh yeah, we have these algorithms. So they say, oh, can we have them? Can we have that data? I'm like, well, no, it's ours, but yeah, for a price, sure. That's when during COVID, we built a front end. And then now we have AdvisorPro as a product. But yeah, it started internally trying to help sell PlanPro.
Okay, yeah, so look, great. So one more question here. What about integrations? So do you have any integration strategy for PlanPro and also for AdvisorPro?
Sure. It has come up a few times in PlanPro, but due to the clients, sometimes. So what we have done there is actually built some CRM functionality within PlanPro. The ability to take notes, to have task reminders. We did that in PlanPro. On the AdvisorPro side, what we saw early on was, this data is awesome. This data is great. I have to export it and then import it, upload it to HubSpot or Salesforce. Kept on hearing that. So that we started looking at integrations paths. So as of today, we have a native Salesforce integration. We have a native HubSpot integration, and we have an API that is being used. And once they're set up, and how it works, we do the mappings, initial setup, but then as a customer, you can set up saved searches and say, hey, I want to prospect all financial advisors in Florida. Okay. And every week, once we have refreshed data, we will move those prospects over to HubSpot or Salesforce and keep those records in sync.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So look, we talked about that you were actually a number of hats. Okay. So how the current software development process looks like in your company, and what is your role there?
Sure. Yeah, the process is. I'm a very big proponent of agile development, and also a component of start small and fail fast. So I run product as well, and what we're doing today is we meet quarterly as a team. So what I do, I like to have I'm used to more of a monthly agile cadence at my other places, but here, just do the team side, we do quarterly. So we have a quarterly kickoff. And so I will go before that meeting, solicit from all the folks, from our employees. And so now what I'm doing, I'm also involving clients and prospects and saying, hey, look, like the next feature, or maybe not more feature, but like, what would you like to see from AdvisorPro? And I collect that information. And what I do before that meeting, I kind of give it a high level, say, hey, this is going to take me 3 weeks, take the team 3 weeks. This will take 6 months. And then during those meetings, we prioritize. And the goal is to leave that meeting with, okay, look, we have top 3 projects that at that point I could give hard dates that we will get these out in production XYZ. And then we also have after that a priority list. From there, I work with the team. So today it's myself. I have 2 full-time offshore, and I have 2 kind of part-time. Depending on project load, we'll scale up, scale down. So between that team, we will sit down, and I'm very, very involved up front with the architecture, the design, and then we do that. Let the developers do their work, kind of again daily, make sure things are progressing, and once they're almost finished, then they kind of get me back involved, and we sit down and kind of do demos, and at that point we do QA, and then we push to production. And one thing we don't do, I personally don't wait till a feature or a project is 100% done. Like as soon as we have a spike, as soon as something is valuable, I push it to the client. I might not advertise it. I might not go and have a press release out, but I'm going to put it into the platform. And then what I like doing, I have about 5 to 10 clients that we talk to quite often. I shoot them a note, say, hey, do you have time? 5 minutes, I'm going to show you something. And I do that, and sometimes like, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. We don't even have to do the next 5 features. Like this is it. Sometimes it's like, yeah, this is okay, but it's not enough. So depending on that, we will go and say, okay, look, now we got some positive feedback, and also there's been some projects that we pushed to production, got feedback, and we essentially removed because it's like, okay, yeah, this is cool, but you didn't think about this, or you don't understand, maybe compliance has to get involved or something about integration. So we decided to remove it because it just was not worth it at this time. And then also just with software, to continuing that life cycle, as we grow clients, as we scale up, code that was written 3 or 4 years ago needs to be revisited. So also, is that I know I talked to you a few years ago about technical debt. It's also being very mindful of that. So as we go out, I mean, day to day, it's not heavy new feature. It's okay, a couple of new enhancements here, making sure this is good, and also more on the infrastructure side, making sure that we can handle the next 10 new clients we sign.
So to me, it looks like you really have like, many responsibilities. Like you need to run, like, let's say, more strategic sessions, like every quarter, let's say, or kickoff, as you say, to set the strategy, to set the scope of work for the next quarter. You need to present your product, maybe some product features, and it looks like more like a product manager role to your clients, and get some feedback and put it into backlog and so on. And also you work on the architecture, and you need to make the architecture decisions as well. And you need also to couple with the technical debt, and to plan what technical debt to eliminate, what should be the balance, like between feature development, technical debt. So, like my question here is like, by the way, how big is the product backlog right now? Like how many requests from clients do you have?
I mean, it's manageable. If I had to maybe man months, I would say, I mean, we do have a pretty good backlog. I would say 6 to 12 months. Of work, but not all of it is client requested. Like there's things that there's things that are on the backlog that I know need to get done. So it's not going to like maybe it's refactoring a piece of code or refactoring an API. So it's working fine. No one's complaining, but in the back of my mind, I do want to maybe use a newer technology. So like the backlog is kind of mixed between, and also we have just a stage of the company. We have backlog items about, oh yeah, we have a prospect who's going to sign if we do XYZ.
Yes,
So,
this is very typical, by the way. You have some feature you need to develop because you have a prospective client. So like there are several approaches that like you have the client requests, like from prospective clients. You have the requests from the current clients. You have you have some of your ideas, and you also have a technical depth, and you need to balance, the scope of work for your team. So that's why interesting, maybe like in percentage, how you balance this. So how many effort you put into, new feature development for prospective clients, for current clients, your own ideas, technical depth.
Sure. I mean, as we said earlier, we're growing organically. So like the priority number one is, hey, if we have a client who's willing to sign up with us, if we do a task, this is highest priority, right? I would say, I mean, that changes. Like depending on the time of the quarter. Like again, towards the end of the quarter, I get more of those requests. But I would say, I mean, that's not, I mean, maybe 10 to 15%. So it's not derailing anything, but it does happen. Current clients, more right now, our roadmap, it's a lot of the enhancement for the integrations. So the integrations are there, people are using it, but they want enhancements to it. So it's that, I would say that is about, let's say that's about 50%. And then, so we have 50. So then let's say there's sort of 30 to 35 more percent that is more tech debt. And I would say, so let's say 20% tech debt, because I don't want to ever lose sight of that. And the 15% of things that I like, ideas I want to do. For example, I mean, this platform, we started this about 5 to 6 years ago. Okay, so I mean, a lot of things have changed in technology for 5 years, right? So initially, like, so we've been at AWS day one, but our AWS used to be EC2, just EC2 boxes. Okay, so over the years, we have now kind of, I'll say, graduated and matured. Now we're using true cloud. We're using ECS. We're using Lambda. So, one of my goals this month is we have one piece of the platform, one part of the platform that's still running EC2. So I'm trying to get that into Lambda. And at that point, now no more EC2 is required to run our platform, right? When I do that, we're not going to make more money. We're not going to sign more clients. It's just something that, like, this is like a pet project. I want to do it so I could tell people, hey, we're 100% serverless.
But why not sign in more clients if you eliminate the technical debt? Does it bother your clients or not?
No, because it's work. I mean, the feature, the piece I'm talking about is our PDF generation. Okay. So our PDF generation right now is done on an EC2 box. We're going to move that to Lambda. So once we do this to the client, it's still the same PDF. So the client doesn't care. I don't think any prospects will care. But I internally, as a technologist, I will care.
Yeah, but why improving this if it's the same for the client? What the reason to improve?
Because it's also like the risk mitigation. That I have two EC2s. So if EC2 goes down, we lose that functionality. If something happens, so to me, if I get this piece scripted up, and if we ever lose US East 1, I can migrate to US East 2 very, very quickly. Versus I have to go rebuild the EC2. I have to install the software. That's where I want to get. So no.
So
risk
mitigation.
Yes, nothing immediate, but just in case if something happens, I'll be in a better spot.
So look, if you're able to deliver twice faster the new features to prospective clients, do you think you will be able to grow, faster, like twice faster or not?
Sure. Honestly, that question comes up, if not daily, once a week. That if we had more output from technology, can we grow the company? It depends, and I would say yes and no, because it's about, all right, let's say technology, we start doing more, right? Now we have to have marketing do more content, right? Great. Now we have content. Now we have to have sales do more. So we have to hire more marketing people. Now we have to hire more salespeople. So it's not just an equation of can my team code faster?
Okay.
So
okay. Yeah, but look, you already have some pipeline of prospective clients. As I understand, they may be waiting for some feature, or maybe your sales, when talking to them, they say, okay, hey, if you have XYZ, we will buy your solution. But you don't have capacity right now to develop this feature. You don't have capacity to develop it in the next 1, 2, 3 months.
Sure.
So if you add up the capacity, so you will be able to deliver faster, and you will be able to close this client faster. So have you considered, this strategy to add more engineering capacity to deliver faster and to get your new clients signed faster?
We have, and also in the example you just said, like if we do have a prospect that is ready to sign, I will sacrifice that. I will make some sacrifices in the engineering to get that done. So yeah, we have never had a prospect say, hey, I'll sign, and it's not turned around in 1 week. It doesn't happen. So that situation doesn't happen just because we could be agile and prioritize. But yeah, I mean, your question, yeah, I mean, it does come up a lot. That yes, can we do more with a bigger team? Yes, we can, 100%.
Yeah, why not doing this?
Because it's I mean, again, it's how we want to run the business. We, again, as a team grows, as I enjoy coming to the office. I enjoy working on it. And I mean, in my past life, I've managed 30 to 40 developers. I've managed teams of 5 or 6. So what comes with that? Yeah, 100%. With a team of 30, a team of 10, more output, but also I feel like right now where I'm at in my career, it'll take me out of the weeds to a point. That's why I've been using scalable resources. So if I know in the next 6 months I need to scale up, I have the ability to scale up without having to bring on full-time staff.
So what's the optimal size of the team for you? Like comfortable?
Sure. I would say optimal is to go to maybe a well-strong, well-sized agile team. Maybe I would say five developers. In that 5 developers, maybe 2 seniors, and then maybe the rest mid, and then having a QA presence, QA / product manager presence, a part of that team. That would be good, just to keep. At that point, the one thing we do face today is keeping projects going, because we were working on projects. Something comes up, we have to pause this project to work on this. With a bigger team, it's less of that. It's continuing these projects, and like it does feel bad that when I give the team a deadline and I can't meet the deadline, it's not because I'm a bad estimator. It's because other things came up.
So look, I see you have a good educational background, like an engineer. Okay, It looks like you like some of other CTOs with whom we talk, they have also like a managerial education. So do you believe that CTO has to have any educational background in management and business development?
I would say, I mean, yeah, I mean, I have a graduate degree in information technology.
Mhm.
Honestly, again, if I had a time machine, I'd go back in time and do an MBA. Okay, get an MBA so I can have the technology and the managerial instance of it. Um, it's interesting. So the role of the CTO is interesting because a CTO at a company this size is different than a CTO at IBM. Okay, so it's
Yes.
different. It's very different. So
Different
what?
scope of different
Yeah,
scope of role. Yeah, different
right,
size, different scope of role. So
right, right. So that's where, like, I've worked with companies that were small and have gotten big very fast. So that gave me the opportunity to get thrown into management without training, with training. So from my experiences, I've experienced a lot without having to go to manager school per se, right? But also, I will tell you that I personally, someone else might tell me I'm wrong. I don't think I'll do well at a bigger company. I don't think I'll do well. I mean, I think I'll do well, but I don't. That's not for me. Like I enjoy the small to mid sized companies because of I like wearing the different hats. I like coming to work and not having my day 100% planned. If that makes sense.
so what's
So
what is most interesting for you in your role specifically? Like talking to clients, managing
yeah.
team, coping with the source code, coping with the architecture, strategizing. So what the most interesting part for you?
Yeah, I would say now, just as where we are as a company, I really enjoy like the potential partnership discussions. Like we have other companies coming to us wanting to partner with us to maybe do data back and forth. So I enjoy that. Secondly, is probably second and third kind of tied is once we sign up a new client, understanding why they come to us, understanding how I could provide value myself, the team, and also the platform. And also the flip side of that is on the sales process. I enjoy coming in potentially at the very end before it closes to kind of meet the potential client or the potential client and understand. Like at the end of the day, I mean, you're paying us money for our software. Like, what are you gonna do with it? I'm curious, and as we get more and more intel, if I find out five clients are doing something very similar, to me, that's the next feature for us. Well, without having to ask them, it's like so. The more and more conversations, and then and some days, again, this changes. Some days I just like coming in, putting my AirPods in, and coding all day. It's fun. So
Yeah, for sure, it's fun. So look, when you talk to clients, and as you mentioned, you sign a new client. So at some point of time, you may get the negative feedback from your clients.
Mhm.
So how do you handle that kind of situations?
Yeah, I want to get in front of that negative feedback. If I find out through our CSM team, if I find out from the sales team that someone's like, usually no, people are not happy.
Mhm.
Usually people are, I'm not unhappy. It's they just stop using the platform. So
Okay, but did you
I
have a
want to understand.
situation of like, can you give us example, like specific negative feedback?
Oh,
Not like, okay, we just cancel in shadow mode.
yeah,
That's all.
sure.
Sign off. But any negative feedback, like, hey
Yeah,
guys, we want to use your platform, but we are not satisfied with this particular thing.
yeah, sure. So it's it's negative. So we had a client signed up last year, and it was a very good use case that we could 100% help them. And I'm not sure what happened during onboarding, but um, like I said, like our search is very advanced. So our search also could allow an end user to do, I would say, negative search. Like I'm trying to give you an example, but you could
Mhm.
essentially get yourself to a point that you have no results. And this client without so we do offer onboarding. We offer onboarding and training for all of our clients. Some clients refuse it. They decline it, right? This client declined it. And he thought that he could go and use the system. He started using the system. he could not get what he expected out of it, and he stopped using it. A year later, he's like, "Oh yeah, your system sucks. Your system's not good." I said, "Oh, what do you mean it's not good?" He's like, "Oh, I couldn't do this." I said, "Yeah, because that's like he essentially had something not spelt wrong, but in the industry, people know it as this. He was doing a different term. So if you just talked to us for 2 minutes, he would have had thousands of prospects, but he didn't. So that to me, again, it's I could blame him all day. It's our fault. Like what? Like this was on my mind. Why is our system so complex? Like I want to make our system. We deal with complex data, but I want our system to be super not complex, so anyone can come use it without having a deep industry background.
So what actually you did after that for the client?
We've been, I mean, just so again, the client has he's no longer a client, which we understood because he just never got value from the platform. But that has really opened up a more, I don't want to say UX, but more of a CX, the customer journey, understanding. So there's some of it that could be done upfront, right, without any technology, like the onboarding, no onboarding, maybe more content, or maybe tips and tricks. Like FYI, if you do this, this will happen. So more of that, and also on the technology side, his particular use case, or the team right now is working on more of a mapping. So if someone does do this, we know this means this. So we'll still give the results. And also just the whole negative search context, we could code it. So if someone does fall into that page, we could say, hey, look, and what I also want to do is if someone does have a subpar experience, like that should notify us immediately that something is going on with this client so we can reach out proactively versus, honestly, in this case, we were very, very reactive.
So do you see any regulatory and compliance requests from your clients recently?
Yes, sir. Every time. It seems like so the good thing is, so almost every time, I won't say every time, I'll say 7 out of 10 clients, I have to get involved for a compliance review, paperwork. And one thing about our platform, all of our information is sourced from the internet. So we don't have any PII data. We don't have anything that's very confidential. So it's a pretty straightforward conversation when I talk to the prospect's IT team. Honestly, the only data we have on the prospect is their email address and their encrypted password. So so we don't have to technically do a SOC 2. And when I do fill out compliance questionnaires, we generally pass pretty easily.
So what are the security measures you have in your system as soon as you don't have like PII data, but anything?
Yeah, we follow. I mean, I've hired AWS consultants come in, and we are following best practices cloud-wise. And so I think we have encryption, we have VPNs, we have VPCs. So I've got pretty good feedback on that. Encryption and rest, and office-wise, we have no client data here. We have no servers here. Very, very, nothing is stored here at the office. So that does not require us to have enhanced security at the physical location.
Okay. Yeah, got it. So because, with, there is a conversation in fintech that there are lots of regulations that we need to follow. And also, as you mentioned, the customer journey, it has to be very easy, very smooth. And sometimes with all these regulations and reports and audits that you need to implement, you can just complicate your workflows with all of that.
Yes.
So, all right. So look, as for your growth strategy, again, so as you mentioned, you grow organically. Okay. So going forward, so are you going to stick to this plan, or at some point of time you may consider, to scale faster? So what can trigger that decision?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, again, first and foremost, like, we're having a lot of fun here, so it's like the fear is that we bring another partner involved or some funding. That's going to really mess with the culture. That's a concern we have. Um, honestly, like how I mean, our next couple of hires, we're going to try to do a marketing hire and more
Mhm.
hires on the sales team. So depending on and on the sales side is fairly straightforward because as we get more and more leads, we could kind of load balance the leads on our current staff, and as they cannot handle more, we hire more. But those are more revenue generating positions. So
Mhm.
usually when you bring a salesperson and you get BDR in, hopefully the goal is that they pay for themselves quickly, right? Where it marketing, yes and no. In theory, marketing, more brand awareness will bring in more money. Where it gets difficult is like on the technology side. That's where it's difficult because technology hires are usually not cheap and usually are not very revenue generating initially. So, but there's I believe there's a position that well, when I say soon, I don't know if it's going to be in the next, I mean, 6 to 12 or 18 months, but like more on a technical onboarding, like more of a technical CSM person that could get like with potentially APIs, Zapier, HubSpot, Salesforce, getting more into the weeds with our clients that I usually do today. But there's going to be a day that I don't have the capacity to. Also, it doesn't make sense for me to be involved in every single client at one point.
So how many salespersons do you have, like dedicated full time?
Right now, we have 3 full time.
Okay, yeah, I got it. So look, so right now, as I said, we are observing this recession, and what does it mean? Like inflation, like gas prices, interest rate, etc. And also there is a risk, of inflation. Yeah, having like even higher inflation. So, do you see any risk for your particular area when you sell the 401k plans that the inflation can affect this area somehow?
It has affected us already. This time last year, it was much easier to make a sale.
Mm-hmm.
Much easier. But then as the year went on, like we're still making sales. I mean, things are good, but it's just the sales cycle is much longer, and also like more and more people are involved in the sales cycle versus just okay, we just talk to the CEO, he writes us a check, and we're good. Now it's like okay, we gotta get more people to buy in. So I see that's happening. I think with the current climate. With and also just the recession, because we're all noticing this. Like everything's more expensive. Like our office space is more expensive, parking is more expensive. So just things that we used to pay this much are more expensive. What we're not passing a lot of that to our clients. So we're not like automatically everyone has to pay more for subscriptions. But what we're doing is as clients come up for renewal, we kind of research our account and say, hey, look, this client signed on very early, so he or she got a very good price, and they're power users. So we may do a 3% increase year over year to kind of help with our costs,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there is a risk that things get worse, and that's also another reason why we haven't overhired. Because I don't want to be in a position that we hire and then things don't go as planned, and then we have to because we're a very small company, so it's not Microsoft that has 200,000 people, and then they got rid of 5%. It was small. Like, if we get rid of it will be it will hurt to get rid of just because of the human element.
So, look, do you think there is any risk of default for retirement plans at all, like on the large scale, national scale?
Yeah, since everything's backed by the market, yes, there's always a risk. There's always a risk, and like I was, back in 2008, I was also in fintech, and what we saw was as the plan assets go down, now companies want to optimize. So if they're paying an advisor $30,000 to manage this plan, and there's another advisor that's emailing them, they'll do it for 15,000. That may spur that conversation just because of the cost savings. So that's, and also like if my plan is not doing well because I'm in these investments, but then another person has better investments, I might want to go over there to kind of save the plan. So I think when things are good, people don't change. Hey, it's working. When things are bad, people are looking to change and make differences. So I'm not saying this is good for our business, but in theory, this could spur more change, which in turn may be cause of more usage for our platform.
So look, okay, as you mentioned, back 2008, and we had this crisis, and actually fintech emerged from this crisis like the technology companies that are trying to solve and to fill the gaps that big financial companies have. So going forward, next 1 or 2 years, so what exactly, what gap will you fill? What specific problem, pain point on the market you want to address, on the financial market you want to address with your technology? Something something new. What are you thinking about?
So something like what we have noticed is I don't think it's going to address the gap, but what we have noticed is how, again, maybe this is more very, very specific to AdvisorPro, how people use AdvisorPro and how people use competitors to AdvisorPro. It's very pull. I want to pull. What I want to do is make it more to a push model. Just like the whole recommender. Like if we know that a company has good relationships with these 10 types of advisors, I could give you 30 more advisors like the 10 you're doing business with. So again, that didn't directly answer your question, but like in the next couple of years, and also just how, so these layoffs that are happening left and right, or what's hopefully is going to happen is going to spur a lot of these startups, just like in 2008, right? Just Stripe came out of it. A lot of these big companies came out of layoffs. So I'm hoping we see a lot more startup competition, and it's hard to say. The whole the pandemic situation was a black swan event, right? No one could model this out. Honestly, it was interesting because the first 2 months it was bad, and then after that, like I know a lot of companies that just had records, sales records. Things are just going, car prices, house prices. So things are normalizing to a bit, but next couple of years, I don't think there's gonna be another pandemic, but what is there anything we can learn from that? That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. Is there anything we can learn from that whole series of events?
Yes. Yeah. Look, I agree with that. So, okay, Hesom. So thank you very much for this conversation. So it was really great to discuss your journey, your products, how you see, and what's your strategy. And I really like the path that you have chosen to be organic, and it makes lots of sense. And you explain this in very details, why you are doing that, and this is really great. And look, and also I know there are engineers, like good leaders, but they are afraid to become an entrepreneur. So maybe like some final words. So what do you think? What maybe you can say something encouraging to those people who are listening to us right now and who are really great leaders, managers, engineers, but they're afraid, to make this next step, the entrepreneurial step, and start doing something for their own. So why they should do this?
Yeah, I would just say, why? Honestly, it's a lot of fun, and my advice is to start small. Don't go quit your job tomorrow because you want to start a company. Honestly, in your free time, start. Don't even start a company. Start something that could provide value to someone else. Once you have that done, understanding how you kind of scale that up, and then again, that might come to a company. That might also just be I've read that if you sell an app in the App Store for $10, you just have to sell 1,000 of them to have a pretty good monthly living. So just think. I'm not going to say think small, but do small. Think big, but just start small, and you'll also find out if it's going to be too stressful for you, or don't just go and don't make big life altering decisions because you want to start a company. Just start it in the background, see how it is, and if it goes good, great. If it doesn't, you're still stable. You're still good.
So like one step at a time. So think big, set a big goal,
Baby steps.
Try, do some
Right.
baby steps. And if you see some progress, so then maybe at some point make some decision.
It's going to be organic. I hope to a point that it becomes so organic that you have to do this. It's not you have to make a decision. So that's the best situation to be in.
Okay, Hesom, so cool. So thank you very much for this conversation, and for everybody who are watching us. So please like this video if you think it makes sense for you, everything we have discussed, and also put your comments below, and also put your questions below this video, and we will answer them for sure. Also, I encourage everybody who are watching to explore PlanPro product and also AdvizorPro. So I think you should look at these products, and maybe you will see something useful for yourself as a technology leaders, how you can implement like easy to use and simple workflows platforms. So I encourage you to sign up for PlanPro and for AdvisorPro, just to play around with that, and maybe then you can recommend to somebody these platforms. So like this video, thank you, and stay tuned, stay healthy. And it was me, Vasil, from Insert, and Hesom from PlanPro. Thank you, Hesom,
thank you.
Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Still watching us and have not subscribed yet? Let's fix this. Also, don't forget to like this video and take a look at the other episodes we have. See ya!